Black woman, black hips, black kiss, black lips, afro with a black pig. Love when you talk that blackish. Black man, black fist,
Vokal Dialect, like, comment, subscribe.
Vokal Dialect podcast. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Vokal Dialect podcast. Like, comment, subscribe.
Black schools, black scholars, black doctors, black designers, black garments, black stage, black performance, black panel, black audience, black mothers, black fathers, black sons, black daughters, black love, black honor. You black today, you gonna be black tomorrow. Black woman, black hips. You was either born a winner or a loser. Up Piss Creek without a paddle, swimming in the sewer. It's hard to maneuver, moving through hog manure. When Cassia grew up with, be sending dogs to chew you. Air is polluted and need of oxygen is purer. Spirit is sick, praying hard God could cure you. Baptist churches full of deacons, hallelujah. And crackers lurking, full of demons will probably shoot you. Then get off cause they know the judge and prosecution. Run a ring of local drugs and prostitution. They love a hookah, blow a hookah in the judge's chamber, tooting snow, blowing Buddha. Politicians no different from a lot of Christians. Hand on the Bible, sworn in top positions. Dark religion, rituals chopping chickens. Heads drop in the kitchen. Mess halls in the prison like animals in the cage. Killer claims the victims. Never really realizing the gaming system. The poison you giving, destroying the children. Lack of basic needs don't make it easy to enjoy your living. Poor conditions bring forth distorted visions. More wishing for corporate riches. Fortune 500 or some other sort of business. Living beyond your means and dreams, you can't afford existence. Wake up, the new phrase is stay woke. I seen many laid to rest for yayo. They losing sleep just to keep from staying broke. Then caught sleeping, playing for keeps, or they wrote. I'm from a small town you probably never heard of, where brand new dudes move to and get murdered. Come from out of town with grams to seek mergers. Plans cease to further in Atlanta, thieves and burglars. Turn beef to burgers. Workers serve orders with ease. For large fry, quarter pound, double cheese. I seen royalty destroy team loyalty. Nightmares ending dreams horribly. From on the scene cordially to extreme disorderly. Held in contempt, court costs and lawyer fees. And commons asking for commissary for toiletries. Commonly sharing the toilet with 3 other G's. I got a nephew to keep out the street and he got to eat. Now he got a mouth to feed. I tell him watch out for your seed. In order for growth you gotta cut out them weeds. They sprout quick with greed. No water down wisdom, solid truth you seek. Every garden has a harvest that grows at God's speed. They attempt to cut you down, but your roots run deep. Not far falls the fruit from the tree, the proof you see. My heart was hardened, froze like a rose in the garden. Cold like it was closed in the darkness. Unchosen, forgotten, disposed like it was thrown in the garbage. Recycled, my glow was restarted. On a mission to find me. Looking forward, leaving what's lost behind me. Looking forward to the gorgeous things my eyes see. Hooking divine forces, cords in my vein like an IV. I hear voices inside me say don't fear the loss. Everything's a gain, it came from the source. Super supreme, almighty being, all light beaming. Wake up in the morning, all night screaming. Seeing ceremony, you face your demons. When the fear is in front of you, embrace what you're seeing. Nowhere to run to when you running from you. It's just the lies shunning you, running the truth. Become one with the two. A second come into you. Becoming the new, looking confused, falling apart, like you coming to loose. Puzzle piece by piece, the picture coming to view. Never seen a masterpiece more stunning than you. Remember to remember what you coming to do. Never seen a masterpiece more stunning than you. Remember to remember what you coming to do. Stay true.
And I titled this one, Fixing the Cracks in the Circle. And what do I mean by fixing the cracks in the circle? As you see my Pan-African flag. So that means I connect with the African worldview. Have I ever touched the continent? No. But spiritually, mentally, I subscribe to African versus a Western way of looking at the world. So my view is not connected to what we see in everyday life, connected to reality, right? My view is not connected to reality. So my views are a lot different. If you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. Put it like that. So what I mean, we are African people, which means we are a circle of people. We are a circle of people. Before the invasion of any foreigners, we weren't a confused people. We weren't a broken people. We weren't a divided people. That doesn't mean we always got along. I'm not looking at through some glittery eye of Africa. I understand very well. So I'm not describing a picture of perfection and fantasy. I'm talking about a simple difference of looking at reality, right? So that's what I mean when I say fixing the cracks in the circles, which represent us. And let me say it like this. We are being warred upon. We're being warred upon right now. Everything in society is against us. Always has been, always will be. Does that mean other people aren't affected by poverty, things of relatability? Of course. I already said, we're in their paradigm. So, of course, poverty hits everybody. If you ain't in a certain circle, square, because they square people. If you're not in a certain square, you don't fit in. So, one of our biggest wars is this so-called battle of the sexes. This tired black male versus black woman, black versus, and I was going live with somebody. Or no, I wasn't on live. I was watching her live. And this was just one of those overly emotional females. Number one, her view has totally been destroyed of black males. So she's programmed with a certain type of hostility. Notice I said the word program. And I was talking about the Willie Lynch when she was talking about black males not being this, yada, 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 yada. So I said to constantly keep us at each other, the Willie Lynch, and she went off. She went off. Get cerebral assassin up out of here. I'm so tired of everybody keep talking about a Willie Lynch. And people so matter-of-factly in the comments, well, Willie Lynch it was made up. It wasn't real. It's very matter-of-factly. And I come in and I said, of course. I said, it's even rumored that it was written by a black man. Okay. You learn things through stories, right? Tales, urban legends. This is why we would have griots. We would have griots, storytellers. And in this, let's just say, I don't know about was Willie Lynch an actual person. But if you ever, and I would suggest everybody, young brother, young sister, older, whoever, if you read it before, suspend your ego and read this. No matter if you've read it before, read it again. And read it to understand and not read it to respond against it, right? And in it, as it's given a description, and this is what I talk about when I say, I don't know who it was written by, but I'm talking about the methodology, the description of how to break us and put these cracks in this circle. You follow what I'm saying? To break this circle. Because a circle's no good once it's broken, right? A donut is it's no longer whole. And everybody take pieces till it's none left. If somebody slices a child hula hoop without taping it together or repairing the circle, can they use it? Right? So if you're looking at it and it says, and I usually keep it with me. Let's see. Let's see if I'm on top of my. I probably moved it. 1 second. I probably moved it. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I will read it to you. Okay. I will read it to you. I have it. And like I said, I want you to understand the opinion making. Let's use Edward Bernays and his opinion making, right? So this is opinion making before Edward Bernays, in my opinion. Whose opinion? My opinion. Because they had to give them a framework of how to not control their slaves. And remember, I said I'm getting over a little stuffiness, so forgive me if I'm coughing. Okay. Yep, I have it. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to start off at the let's make a slave. And like I said, forgive me if I have my water. Forgive me if I cough or whatever. I'm getting through it. Okay. Let's go with let's make a slave. It was in the interest and business of slaveholders to study human nature. The slave nature in particular, with a view and practical, and with a view, with a view to practical results. I and many of them attained astonishing proficiencies in the direct, proficiencies in this direct arm. That's kind of choppy. Let me do that again. I and many of them attained astonishing proficiency in this direction. They had to deal with not with earth, wood, and stone, but with some men. By every regard, they had their own safety and prosperity. They needed to know the material on which they were to work. Conscious of the injustice and wrong, they were every hour perpetuating and knowing what they themselves would do. Where the victims of such, they were they the victims of such wrongs? They were constantly looking for the first signs of the dreaded retribution. So basically, that's like they were okay. Once they knew what they was about to lay down, they always are on the watch out for the Black Messiah or retribution. So, which is why every time we've had a real forward thinker, because I'm tired of this leader, forward thinker, solution oriented person, they had to go because they're always looking for retribution, for get back. They watch, therefore, with skill and practice, eyes and learning to read with great proficiency. The state of mind and hearts of the slave. Through his sable face. Usually, sobriety, apparent abstractions, sulliness, and indifference indeed. Any mood out of the common was afforded grounds for suspicion and inquiry. So if you look like you were, which is why we have what we have now, such racial profile, right? Because the element hasn't changed. This is why they're always clutching their purses, because of the image they've created to rationalize what they were going to do. Am I making sense? Okay. Let us make a slave. What do we need? First of all, we need a nigger man and a pregnant nigger woman and her baby. Nigger boy. Second, we will use the same basic principle that we would use in breaking a horse, combined with some more sustaining factors. What do we do with horses is that we break them from one life to another. That is, we reduce them from their natural state in nature. How do they break the horse? Whereas nature provides them with the natural capacity to take care of their offspring, we break that natural string of independence from them and thereby create the dependency status so that we may be able to get from them useful production for our businesses and pleasure. You hear this? Okay, and I'm getting I'm getting to where I'm going. I haven't forgotten why I'm reading this. Okay, we can speed it up. And like I said, grab a copy and read this yourself. Let me find it. Bear with me. And I'm just looking over some of the stuff that I highlighted. Okay. Fear in the young black man. I'm just looking. I'm coming back. Okay, I'm going to look too far. Okay. Okay, there it goes. After Anthony Hamilton in the background. To state This is about breaking the offspring. There is also, speaking of this, there's also a Willie Lynch book. And if I have it in this library here, I'll show it to you. Run a series of testimony. And you know what I'm saying? I'm just reading over, and I could have read this in its entirety, but I don't want to get away from the message that I started out and intended. Okay. But what I'm looking for, the differences. I'm looking for the differences. Okay. Oh, I know where it is. Boom. I know exactly where it is now. Okay, boom, right here. I know exactly where it was when I slowed down to think about it. Okay, let me go back a little. And I'm getting to where I'm going. I appreciate you being patient. Whoever gonna sit through and listen. Yep. Got it right here in parentheses. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves and make the differences bigger. I use fear and distrust and envy for control. Let me read that again. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves and make the differences bigger. I use fear and distrust, and we're gonna talk about distrust in both of these in this. I use fear and distrust for control. Okay. These mentioned have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies. It will work throughout the South. Take this simple list of differences and think about them. On top of my list is age, but it is only there because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade, colorism or shade. There's intelligence, size, sex, which is the topic of this, size of plantations and status on plantations, attitude of owners, whether the slaves live in the valley, on a hill, east, west, north, south, have fine, coarse hair, tall or short. Listen to these list of differences that they use against us. And we get into the topic. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you the outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger, and distrust and envy is stronger than adulation, respect, admiration. Okay, now we're gonna stop there. This list of differences, and like I'm talking about, fixing the cracks in the circle. So these list of differences that they've used. Now this is, we are generations. We're supposed to be advanced from this, right? We have new cars. We got all of this. So of course, we ain't our ancestors. Ain't that what y'all saying? We ain't our ancestors. We'll do this. We ain't our ancestors. We'll do that. Okay, so a list of differences. So fixing this, and I'm talking about this tired black male, black female argument, male versus female. And I sometimes, because I look at stuff and I be like, boom. And I'm watching Anton Daniels. And I don't know that, bro. I don't know that dude personally. But my thing is, and listen, here's the thing of when you just when you really looking for a solution and clarity, right? It's not about liking the person. It's not about disliking the person. Right? It's not about that. But what people like Anton Daniels, his best friend, which he'll tell you, Kevin Samuels, this is what I talk about. Notice in the beginning, before I started to read the Willie Lynch, I talked about engineering consent, right? Edward Bernays. How you shift the mind of a people. But what they used in these keys to control their slaves, they used it on their people. They told their people, don't watch these blacks. Any sign of shiftiness in their eyes, any sign of aggression. This is why you have to have an Anton Daniels, right? It's not about good or bad. Remember I said, this stuff is subjective on how you look at it and what you fall under. So this is really subjective. If you agree with him, that's you. But I'm tired. I'm trying to really find solutions for black females and black males. Because it's tired, because we went through all those list of this. And I'm listening to him, and though I understand what a simp is, this is what I want to say to any little brothers that are looking at this. Follow yourself, man. Because I understand what a simp is, but what we doing, we confusing the little homie so bad that we're confusing the innocence, the love, the experience with girls. Remember, I'm from the 80s, so I grew up with Mr. Telephone Man, and I probably sing like shit, but that right there, New Edition. You got to count me out. Hey, you got to count me out. I'm hanging with my girl. The way we thought about each other, the way we thought about the opposite sex. True, I can't wait to get to school each day. Some reason now all of these thoughts are simple. So, and their points of view is, I can't say all, because they say, all of us don't think like that, all of us, but we keep getting all the same results. Most of their mentalities, not about them being good or bad people, not about them being wealthy, not about this, none of that matters. None of your money matters really in this system. It's only good enough for this system. So get your bag by all means. If you're Anton Daniels, if you are, what's her name, the female version, the Princella, the Queen Maker. There's a vested interest in using these differences against us, creating these cracks in the circle. There's a vested interest on keeping us at each other's throat. Now, this is how they use like videos for war. If you're really looking at how they brainwash the people when they're using like MK Ultra, then what movie was that I was watching? It was a movie, I know James Marsden played in it, Disturbing Behavior. And any of these, I think they were like a mixed school, but most of them was white children. So any of these children that was out of line, they would mysteriously kind of brainwash them. Well, that ain't that mysterious about that, but they would get them in line. So their behavior was similar to like that behavior in Get Out. They would put you in this. And a lot of this, they use the images where they would have you ever seen where they'll put them in the machine and they have the eyeballs stretched open and they're playing all of these images. So that's what we're doing on another type of level. Because I find it funny that we use their tactics on us now. You follow what I'm saying? We use their tactics and depictions of us on us now. I think it was O'Shea Duke Jackson. Forgive me if I'm wrong, because I was telling one of my brothers. Somebody just asked me, what about, right on time, what about O'Shea Duke Jackson? And in these images, follow what I'm saying about the images, because images are what? Advertisements to the mind. Ba-da-da-da-da, I'm loving it. Songs and images. Images. And I was speaking about O'Shea Duke Jackson. I think it's a 5-minute video that I created about O'Shea Duke Jackson. And the images he used for high-value men versus slave-minded men. And the images for the high-value men who want to better their lives were images of white women. Now, you can give what you want to the older crowd. Because if these old goofies are going to follow this, then they're not fit for black women no way. But when you start to shape the opinion and the narrative for the youth, let the youth have experience. Every young man goes through heartbreak. This is where all them damn songs came from. One minute they singing, you got to count me out. Then they singing, is this the end? You know, can you stand the rain? Okay. Can you stand the rain? That talked about us. So in him saying this is what high value men subscribe to versus low men. The slave-minded men were overweight women and black women. You following what I'm talking about? The images of better were the shapers of what I just read in the beginning. Because the psychological warfare has worked so bad that now we see ourselves the way our oppressors, your capturers. This is when I keep talking about Albert Bandura. This is what he's talking about when he's talking about the model, using the model and how they used it to shape the views through soap operas. And he said, what does the model do? The boy asked him, he said, the model, you begin to feel whatever the model feels. If the model likes this, you like this. If the model dislikes this, you dislike that. Which is why I said you put it together and you get role model. So Anton Daniels, and again, it's bigger than, but you got to start with them small fries. Because he doing what he got to do to get his bag. So it's not a bash against this brother in case this dude comes across this video. But you got to call things like it said. Because more young black men are looking to be entrepreneurs. We dealing with heartbreak every day. Men of all ages. You know? And music is playing in my background, and right now the song, I think his name is Uncle Sam, and this was I think it was like 98 or something. I don't ever want to see you again, where the girl was sleeping with his best friend. But then who was that had that song? I wish I didn't love you so much. He was creeping with his best friend's girl at that. It's the way the griots tells the story. It's the way the storyteller tells the story. So now what we have is we have a bunch of black male models who are armed with the image, male and female. It's not just the brothers. This is what we have to understand. That it's not just one side. And when you're able to call this down the middle, that's when we can start to move forward with solutions. But as long as you looking over here saying, men do this, one thing about them men, that's how they use the Prince Seller, the Queen Maker. That's how they use, as somebody, my bro said, Cynthia G as well. Cynthia G allegedly has called for the extermination of young black boys. Allegedly. I need to hear that for myself, but I don't listen to a Cynthia G. But this was told by one of my lady friends. So this is Margaret Sanger. You see what I'm talking about? How their spirit can get into you. Because you are in this paradigm. You're in this frequency. It doesn't matter your religious view. You can be Muslim. Black Muslim men subscribe to the way of Anton Daniels. Some black African males subscribe. Black Christian males. It's a shared way of thinking. This is why we having so many problems in homes. This is why we having so many chiefs and not enough Indians. Because they're selling you of being this top dog, this high. What is a high value man in the system of racism, white terrorism? How does one become a high value man? And what can a high value man do in a system where he can be made a victim anytime at a stoplight? It doesn't matter how much you think. I watched I gotta get it back, but I watched a TV series on Tubi. Tubi has some good stuff. And in this, it was like these 5 black boys and girls. It was 4 boys and 1 girl. And they were kind of like, I want to say foreign exchange students. And they went to this all-white school. I'm going to find the name and come back in my next video. And the experience of being young black youth in this world. That's like the movie Them. If anybody's seen that movie Them on Amazon Prime, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, you should check it out. And what this centers around was when Compton was all white, right? The storyline for this, Compton is all white. And you have these token black families that come into these all white neighborhoods. See, look, this is what we got to understand. If we are still our ancestors, who are their ancestors? They are still theirs. Is that fair to say? They are still their ancestors. So their original way is still in them. It's not conditioned to the, it's not, let me say it like this. Because I do believe if the condition of the environment changes and it's against them, they'll revert back to their natural nature. So I can't say it's not contingent on the condition of society, if that makes sense what I'm saying. Because I think if things were to turn and they were begin to be treated like us in America, then they would come back to their savage nature. But in this movie, this is when, and you get to see what the mother went through. In this movie, I saw the origin of Neighborhood Watch. I saw some of the most devilish torture tactics. And not even physical, per se. And we have to understand. We have to understand how we either used as tools to push us forward, to keep us stagnant, or to pull us back. There's not many ways we can go, y'all. And you got to see what the dad went through on his job. He was always looked at as just some old boy. I can't remember, was he an engineer or what was he? If anybody knows what I'm talking about, correct me. And I'm always going to say that. But I can't remember. But he had a job that was able to put him in this all-white community, right? It was a good paying enough job. And he comes in, oh, excuse me, to start his first day, and the receptionist is treating him like he's the janitor, right? I got to see how both of their children went to school or how they dealt with being in that environment. And this is all things that we have to think about, because in us being this circle, getting back to the topic of this video, what's the topic of this video? The cracks in the circle. In this circle, it is man, woman, and child. No matter what none of these people saying on this internet, we can't break up our circle because of how they are turning up the heat in the room, if that makes sense what I'm saying. That is the unit. It's not man, man, child. It's not woman, woman, child. It has nothing to do. This is emotion. This is why we can't rise higher, because we're in our emotions. Emotions and passion run together, but sometimes you have to learn how to differentiate. But we listen to talking heads like Kevin Samuels. And one thing about Anton Daniels, how come now, and if you have, correct me, because I am not. I hear him in passing. I hear him if somebody shares information. So I don't know everything. I'm gonna put that out there. So if this video exists, send it to me. But how come you have never spoken to the condition of your homie, Kevin Samuels, and his marriages? He wasn't married. Oh, but it was the woman's fault because she was for the streets, right? Right? What's wrong with us because nobody's taking accountability. And the erotic chicks, the ones like Princella, the Queen Maker, she shapes narratives for all black men. And there's no love behind what this chick is saying. It's no love. I know the Queen Latifah set it off vibes. You can't fool me. These people are agents of chaos. They have a vested interest to push differences. We always gonna have differences. Like I said, we have to differentiate between, is this person passionate or is this person full of it? Is there love behind this person's message? Or is it self-gain? Everything should be for you, because we're balanced people. Going back to this circle, we're not gonna get away from this circle. But once that circle is broken, we done. And this circle got so many chops, it's almost in pieces like the scramble for Africa. So what I'm saying is, you have to listen to the messenger. What y'all always say when somebody trying to bring y'all truth. When somebody's speaking about who you like and they crazy, they say you gotta understand the message, not the messenger. Funny that when it's a truther, y'all don't understand the message. When the messenger is telling you you more jive turkey, the messenger word don't matter then. It's be patient. This nigga ain't put, I can't say he ain't put one doorknob on it, because he at least bought a doorknob. But this jigaboo haven't done one forward thing. He can't give, I've never seen, this is why we're so gullible, because our circle is broken. So our trust in each other, fear and distrust. Did he not say that in that? Did I not read fear and distrust? Fear and distrust. This is what these guys operate on. Don't never get with her again. You know, you run through them and you see it in the comments. I'm a person, I'm active. I don't live on social media, but if I'm on, I read comments. I'm active in that way. And the insecurity is when you say, black women, I love you. Oh, he a simp. Oh, they ain't gonna love you. You doing all this pandering and she ain't gonna give you none. Who said all that? But when you remove yourself from your feelings, you able to understand some things them guys say is right. But some of them things is, come on now. We both got to look at our shit. Because just like they are manipulating women, females, because I think a woman is the highest level. She's good with herself. She don't feel the need to tear down her man. She don't feel the need to always tell her man she don't need him. She ain't too big to apologize. She don't hold grudges. A goddess is woo. But there's evolutions, just like the evolution of a man. He's not leading with his ego. He don't lead with his phallus. Especially if you're in a relationship. He's not married in single women inbox. She's not in other dudes' inboxes if she's with you. Because there is no one way that everybody's relationship should go. Now, if you're cool with people cheating, and the reason I said that because it's like now, it's like you have these relationship gurus that they sell you this monolithic way almost in a sense. I agree with some things. One of the videos was sent to me was a female who was saying that she was with a good guy, but he just, no matter what he did, that just wasn't her dude. And even after they broke up, he was still continuing to send her flowers. Now, and the dude Daniel said that's simp behavior. The only reason, and I don't even disagree with him, right? I don't disagree with him. But I think that word get thrown around so loosely, right? I think every time you comment, every time you do something to show that you're not anti-woman in your emotions, in your ego, you can be labeled simp. Anything other than outside your ego and you being the man at all times, this stuff is, what does this have to do with us? Everybody watched that movie, Leave the World Behind. Okay, if they put us in this environment, how are we able, us, this skin? Don't bring in no Samoans, don't bring in nobody, us, the people that look like your everyday people. What are we gonna do for each other? That's why I get tired of the overused phrase, come together. Because we can't even come together on certain small things. And at the helm is the children. Always going to come back talking about how it affects our youth. So, okay, so also you have guys that are saying, don't deal, and I'm gonna get back to that. I'm looping it around. Don't deal with women that got children. Don't be a don't be a stepdad. Okay? All of this stuff is subjective. Right? Because I feel it, but I can't get stuck there. I understand it. I understand when these dudes are saying this stuff, but I can't get stuck there. Right? I can't get stuck in that emotion. What you don't want to do is align yourself with the right one, because we got to vet better and pick better too. Well, what you don't want to do is do stuff too soon. Now, there's some stuff I agree with. Well, you don't want to do stuff too soon. And I've been in all these situations, what we're talking about. So I understand the heartbreak. I deal with everything all the other dudes deal with. But what we have to do is everybody's learning, everybody finding themselves. I'm still finding self-confidence every day because I'm not as confident in certain areas. So when you have a low level of esteem that you operate on, I guess that's what they're talking about high value man. But again, this stuff is subjective. Right? So I do agree with bettering yourself. And if she's broken up with you, back to what I'm talking about, if she's broken up with you, you might not want to keep sending flowers, especially if she's like, it's over with. That's when you begin to play yourself. But like I said, I don't agree with the misuse, the overuse of everything simp, because that jades the little homies on how they supposed to treat the young girls. And okay, let's look at the models. We're not gonna get away from Bandura. We're still talking about the cracks in these circles. So when we look at the models, okay, they got Priscilla, who's talking about all men ain't this. This is what our youth is hearing from both sides. So our input, this is their input. Who they listening to? Young Boy. Who else? Dirk. Thug. You know he going through what he going through. I feel like I'm missing Future. And I always said that's why he's named Future, because that's who he's targeted to destroy, the future. I just effed your girl in some Gucci flip-flops, or whatever, however that song go. And that song was allegedly, somebody told me, was about Larsa Pippen, Scottie Pippen's ex. So she put herself out like that. But did Scottie Pippen not know that? See, that's why I always come back to a circle of accountability. So if this is their models that's shaping everything, and meanwhile, the ones that talk, I keep telling you how Tavistock is the opinion, is the brainwashing center. Okay, I was reading the comments. And this is their models. All them guys I named. Okay, on the women's side, you got Prince Ella, who you got Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion. What's the new one? Sexy Red, who's terrible. Who's freaking terrible. And what are their messages? I'm F-R-E-E, up nigga free. I mean, I ain't got to worry about it on me. And this is the anthem. This is the anthem for females, because it ain't always the young. It's these old birds. So that's why I say I understand, but I don't have to tear down all my people to get this point across. We are a sick people. So every woman is not a queen. Every dude is not a king. And my brother in the comments, he said, just because you make 6 or 7 figures doesn't mean you're high value. Again, somebody tell me, what is this? Because then now you saying money makes the man. But if that man no longer had that money, is he still a man? That's a thing that could be taken away from you. The real value is in us. You have to find your person. That's what I'm learning in my 42 years. You got to find your person. And it's billions of people, but is that your person? I'm going to say that again. It's billions of people, but is that your person? Your person should understand you. That don't mean it's perfect, because I know how people get, because your first thing is to tense up and give a reaction to say, well, everything, that's true. Everything is not for everybody. But we have to, this is why I say I refuse to talk about high knowledge. What is high knowledge? Knowledge is on another level that's not as basic as what we're talking about. We spend our most time talking about the most basic things. But that's how the programming have you. That you must talk about the most basic, boring, same old thing. Because the people's mind have advanced beyond being with each other. Because we're always in a celebratory party and bullshit mentality. Like I said in one of my other videos, we're so crazy that we call the portal of life, which is between the legs of a woman, Dr. Ben, Yosef Ben Yakinen, he called it heaven. He called it heaven. He called between the black woman's legs heaven. And guess what Dr. Ben said? I spend every chance I get trying to get back to heaven. You talking about, Dr. Ben? Heaven. It ain't no box. The box is trash. We go from having top scholars that said heaven is between the legs of a black woman. Now you got cats telling you to find hell between the legs of a white woman. Because that's all you're going to get. That's how Tiger Woods ran into that tree. Being in hell. He let the food taste foolish. He went coblation that day. I guess he was coblation. That's why he hit that tree. It's just a little CP humor. But anyway. But no, on a serious note, they tell you the image of forward is overseas. Now, where you find it, you find it. I'm going to tell you just as long as you don't find it in the same sex and in between a cave dweller. Because you're never able to be yourself with a Westerner. Because this is where we get white fragility from. So a person that's the black person that's in a mixed relationship, notice how they always become whitewashed. Notice how when the white boy or the white girl with you, they get accepted because we are accepting people. This is how we got colonized. Accepted. This is how we got colonized. Same thing that we still doing now. Inviting them to, he did the Tootsie Roll for 20 seconds. Let's invite him to the cookout. He got his knife and skinned everybody in the cookout. How did Dylan Roof get in that church? Because to be in this paradigm, it strips you of all your senses. Which is how the good brother Ahmaud Arbery was jogging with no sense of direction because that good brother didn't have his GPS on that day. And like the cowards they were, they used numbers against him. KKK. They used numbers. Numbers. I'm going to see if y'all know what I'm talking about. They use numbers against us. The more we try to get individualized, the more they understand they numbers. It took numbers to come get Emmett Till, a young boy, because they know, they understand who we are. We don't. I ain't from here. I'm an FBA. I'm FBA. Tyreek told me. Tyreek is a grifter. He's been a grifter. He's been all over the place. You know what I'm saying? But you FBA. And that's not to be against my people that's from here. But you got to understand your strength from wherever you come from. Stop these games. I'm from here and make it better. What do you say? Plantation status. What it saying in that Willie Lynch? Read that Willie Lynch. Plantation status. They didn't care. They ain't gonna care. I remember I was watching this Warren's video and the dude was like his name was Geronimo or something. And he came and talking that tough talk, man. Them folks that hemmed him up. He was no longer Geronimo. He was what's his name? Andre. They don't care. They don't care about my flag back here. This flag does. This flag scares them, but it doesn't. What I'm saying scares them, but it doesn't. Because as long as we separate, as long as y'all here listening to Hit That Cash Out model, check out Albert Bandura. I'm going to keep hollering that name. I believe we shouldn't go beyond, because what you do, you have all of these sensationalists. A good OG, General Shaka Sankofa, he calls them showbiz liberators. Showbiz liberation. Because they got the entourage. Right? They got the popularity. I ask people all the time, what was y'all most profound humor speech? When he said the shit about the shit. Shit about the shit. You can't even tell me your favorite humor speech because you engulfed with the image, just like the Black Star Line. The Black Star Line was an image. It was a symbol of hope, just like Barack Obama. Symbol of hope, because they know that's all they got to give black people, because we've been looking for hope for so long, y'all. Have we not? We've been looking for hope for so long. I hope it worked this time. And even though I'm not a fan of Dick Gregory, he got this one bit where he said, hope, you don't want to hear about the motherfucking hope. Hope you pay your light bill. Hope you ain't loses his shit. Hope. We don't want to hear that about no hope. But we hang our whole liberation on hope. And we put our lives and our children in the hands of a stranger, while we ignore the people that we know. Cracks in the circle. I didn't create Pan-Africanism. And you know something? What's funny is Garvey never even used the term. Garvey never even used the term. Garvey was just about it. He didn't run around talking about he was the number one most. We losing our way. And I'm putting here to say it. Not to lead nobody, but to say what's in here. Not to lead nobody. I ain't nobody's savior. Because that's what happened. Our people get this God complex, and then they lose themselves. Because we were conditioned to be worshipers, right? We were conditioned through religion. Everybody talk about the religion. Y'all gonna stop just only beating up on Christianity. Y'all gonna stop just beating up on Christianity. Because all of them have a figure for you to worship. Louis Farrakhan. Everybody got a symbol of leadership. But what was the leadership doing? That's the question. And what's funny about, you know what? What's funny about Bandura in his interview, I think check it out. I think it's basically, I can't call it verbatim, but it's the YouTube video where he talks about how they use soap operas. How they use the soap operas. And guess who he said was the model, or the model citizen model, my words, Martin Luther King. He said Martin Luther King, in his opinion, was the best model for what we was at the time. And remember what I said he said is based on what the model is programmed to do. So we giving Dr. King all this venom, but he himself was being psychologically manipulated. Another one, Yuri Bezmenov. Yuri Bezmenov is dope. I think it's Bezmenov. I think. And he's good at talking about subversion. Look at this stuff. Look, I ain't saying it. You take that up with Yuri. You gonna take that up with Albert. Good luck. How do you get tons of people to not question and take the hokey pokey? How do you get tons of people to not question and do the hokey pokey? It's not all the way us. If you're not in your right mind, what's the key word? Not in your right mind. Being functional and how to work in this system is what you program to do. How many of us know big old stupid people that can work like a mug? Sometimes all that joker can do is go to work. Because he's programmed to be a functioning person of the society. It's about the programming. The person doesn't want to be crazy. Cracks in the circle. The person doesn't want to be crazy. I'll say that again. The person is made crazy. We wasting time getting mad, turning on the people. He's programmed to be crazy. Now they frustrated. Good God Almighty. I can't even hold you. They so frustrated. But my opinion, whose opinion? My opinion. My opinion that is based on your level of clarity and
Black woman, black hips.